Today, let's learn about supply and demand trading, how you find zones, where's the best entry, how you exit, and what are the criteria for good zones. So before we get into the trade examples, let's learn what supply and demand zones are and how to find them. When it comes to the bullish zones, we call them demand areas, and there are two main types. The first one that you will see probably most of the time is a demand area, which in this case is called rally-based rally. It's something that you will see often referred to when in the context of supply and demand trading. And this happens in the context of a trend continuation. So you have your trend beginning, consolidation, and then the continuation. So we are looking for a demand area at those consolidations. The most important part here is that not all consolidations are good demand areas. And we will learn what makes a good demand area, what are the criteria for good versus bad demand areas, because that is going to be the key for finding high probability levels on your charts. Here, of course, this is then called the drop-based rally. We're coming from a downtrend, we have our consolidation, in this case the turning point, and then the market turns. So when it comes to supply and demand trading, one of the most important things is how do we find good zones? And there are a few zone qualifiers. The most important ones are narrow consolidation. So you want to make sure that the consolidation that you're looking at doesn't have a lot of volatility, typically has very small candles, no large wicks, no large bodies. That's the first part. But the most important part and how you find supply and demand zones in the easiest and most efficient ways is that you're looking for explosive breakaways. So the moves out of those consolidation areas has to be extremely strong. Typically, a rule of thumb that I use in my trading is that you want to see that those explosive breakout candles are much larger than the candles that you're seeing previously. So here in the downtrend, we suddenly have narrow consolidation candles, only inside candles, very small, and then extremely large breakout candles like here or here. This then makes a good zone. Here as well, we're coming from the uptrend, small inside consolidations, no large wicks, no large bodies, and then extremely large breakout candles. Of course, there's a little bit more to identifying supply and demand zones, and we're going to take a look at this in this video. But this is a very good starting point for your supply and demand trading. Of course, we also have the same when it comes to bearish zones. So here we have the bearish zone in the case of a consolidation context, coming from a downtrend, then the small consolidation, and the extremely strong breakout candles here. And then here in the trend reversal context, coming from an uptrend, you have your small consolidation, in this case a doji, and then you have three extremely large breakout candles, which then mark the origin of your trend, and this becomes your supply zone. And the way you trade this is pretty simple actually. So what you do is you find your zones, and I will show you how to do this in this video. Once you have drawn your zones, again I will show you this also in the video that is coming, you wait for the market to come back to the zone, and then you trade away. So here we have a demand area, we set our buy order here, the market touches the zone, and then we buy this on the way up. In this case, we have a bearish supply area, all the criteria are fulfilled, we have the explosive breakaway, the small consolidation, we draw our zone, we wait for the market to get back here, we initiate a short position, and then the market trades away here. And now let's get into the practical trade and chart examples. If you are interested in supply and demand trading, I have a really special offer. So as you probably know, I have a trading academy where they're waiting over 100 videos, many different trading strategies, and a complete trading education for you. But at the moment, if you are buying now, you will get a complete supply and demand trading course with the academy. So when you buy the main course, you automatically get the supply and demand course for free on top of it. If you want to learn more, check the link in the video description below. Now back to the video. So here we have a very good example. We are coming from a very small uptrend. You can see we just have a few uptrending candles. The market was in a downtrend, started turning. Then very often in a new trend, you will see that you have your first initial push, then a small pause, and then the extreme breakaway. Again, as I said in the beginning of the video, the easiest way to find good supply and demand zones is just by looking for those huge candles. Look for those huge candles. It could be one huge candle, it can be 2 or 3 huge candles. And then look at the base. Where are they starting? Is there a small consolidation? Also, is it at the beginning or very early on in a new trend? That will help you find the best supply and demand zones typically. So we have a very small consolidation. The demand zone is typically drawn around the consolidation. So we take the high and the low of the previous consolidation, and that's where we draw our zone. And then it's actually quite simple. We wait for the market to get back to the zone. A lot of traders will simply put a pending buy order at the top of the zone. So here you can see this is a pin bar, and the low of the pin bar touch the upper end of this demand area. That's then where you get into the trade. Stop loss is typically placed underneath the zone, not at the bottom of the zone, but give it a little bit of room here. And then target wise, that's where discretion comes in. You can play around with either a fixed reward to risk ratio. You could use a trailing stop loss approach. There are many ways how you can approach that. But the importance is here that the reward to risk ratio is key. So here, for example, if you have a trade with a 5-to-1 reward to risk ratio, you only need to be right once out of 6 trades to break even. So if you can trade above a win rate of 17%, that's where you start making money. So the higher your reward to risk ratio is, the lower your win rate can be. And that is really the key for making such a strategy profitable. Of course, there will be times where the market will not pay attention to the zone and just trade through it and hit your stop loss. That's okay. If you can be right once out of every 4 trades, once out of every 3 trades, and your reward to risk ratio is good enough, that's just going to make you money mathematically and probability wise. And you can see the market has a very, very strong reaction here to this zone here, and then moves into our target here. Another example, here we have a rally, then the consolidation, and then the strong breakout. Here are the explosive breakaway candles. And at the origin of those breakaway candles, we have those 2 small candles, right? We draw our zone on the high and the low of this consolidation. That's our zone. What you can do is then just put your price alert here, or if you prefer trading with a pending order, which is something not many traders will be comfortable with. And you definitely have to try this first on a demo account just to see how it works. That could also be an approach. You can see this is then the entry trigger. The market moves into this zone. And one thing that I have observed over the years is that very often the entry on those supply and demand retests can sometimes feel very uncomfortable, because very often you will see that the market is actually selling off and moving in general very, very quickly into those zones. So very often you will see that the market is reaching supply and demand zones with very large candles. So it can feel often quite uncomfortable getting into such trades when you see that the market is selling off that strongly into your entry. So assuming we follow the general approach for supply and demand trading, you have your stop loss underneath the demand area. We're going for the reward to risk ratio of 5-to-1, targeting the previous highs. And you can see the market, after a little bit of struggle in the beginning, the market eventually pulled into here the previous highs and would have reached this target on this screenshot. Here we're coming from a reversal more or less. So the market was in a downtrend, it bottomed out. The market already had a little bit of a breakout here at the bottom. So this is the first leg, and this is very, very typical in supply and demand trading, that you find those good zones early on after the first breakout. So when you draw your resistance here, you have your first breakout here. Small consolidation, that's where we draw our supply and demand area. We have those huge breakout candles. You can see 1, 2, 3, and then the 4th large candle. So the demand zone is actually very good here. Then again, it's all about waiting. The market comes back to this zone quite a bit later. So this is the 1 hour time frame. And it took the market 5 or 6 days here to come back. So you really want to make sure that you're working with either pending orders, or you are working with price alarms set at the boundaries of your supply and demand areas. So this would have triggered the trade. targeting here the 5-to-1 reward to risk ratio. And once again, the market shot up higher and gave you a very short holding time for this interesting trade. Another one coming from here, the uptrend, small consolidation. We have here 2 inside candles. So a small narrow consolidation, which is the key. Again, you don't want to see wide consolidations. You want to see small movements here. Then strong breakout candles. So we have a very good demand zone, which fulfills all our criteria. We wait for the market to get back to the zone. Again, feels very uncomfortable getting long here after seeing this big push to the downside. The market challenged here the stop loss. And in some cases, as I said in the beginning, this will take you out. Totally fine. This is not a strategy that will work 100% of the time. Every now and then, you will get taken out. Even with a 50% win rate, let's assume you take 10 trades, you lose 5. If you have a 3-to-1 or 4-to-1 reward to risk ratio, just based on how statistics and probabilities work, this will make you money. So make sure that when you're in a winning trade, you don't cut your winner too short and let your winner run. This is the key to pretty much any trading strategy to make it profitable. Make sure that your reward to risk ratio is large enough for your win rate.